Hey everyone, did you know that over 90% of you watching right now haven't hit that subscribe button? If you enjoy our content, take a second to subscribe. It's free and it really helps us keep bringing you great stories every day. I used to think life was made up of choices, good or bad, right or wrong. But the truth is, sometimes you don't even realize you're making a choice until everything else has already fallen apart. It started slow, a conversation after dinner, her eyes full of hope, mind full of sleep. After a 10-hour shift at the plant, she said she was ready to be a mom. Said she could feel it, something changing in her. I smiled, told her, yeah, let's do it. Why not? We were in love. We had each other. That was enough. Or so I thought. We tried and we waited and nothing happened. At first, it was almost fun. The planning, the timing, the whispered excitement of maybe this time. We laughed about it. Made jokes to cover up the silence that followed every negative test. Then came the appointments. The pills, the charts taped to the fridge, marked with highlighters like a war map. She cried more often. I held her more tightly. The laughter stopped and the silence grew louder. The doctor said we were both fine. Technically, that it was unexplained infertility, like it was some invisible thing sitting in the room with us, mocking us, daring us to keep going. I picked up more hours, sold the second car, told my buddy I'd fix his roof for half the price just to scrape together enough for one more consultation, one more vial, one more round of. Maybe she started to withdraw. I noticed it, but I chalked it up to stress. I didn't want to believe anything was really wrong. I told myself, you're doing this for love. Love is sacrifice. You hold the line. And so I did. For 5 years, we missed birthdays, anniversaries. She stopped seeing her friends. I stopped seeing mine. The house got quieter. The corners filled with things we didn't want to talk about. Empty frames, empty bottles, empty rooms. Then just when I was ready to admit to myself that maybe it wasn't meant to be, she told me she was pregnant. She said it like a whisper, afraid the words might dissolve in the air. I remember her face wet with tears, smiling like she was trying to believe it too. I didn't even speak. I just dropped to my knees and held her, like if I let go it might not be real. They said it was a miracle that the new treatment worked. Experimental, high risk. We didn't ask too many questions. We were just grateful. I painted the nursery in the evenings, yellow, soft, and warm. Picked up extra shifts to pay for the crib. She wanted the one with the moon carved into the headboard. We went to appointments together. She let me hear the heartbeat for the first time. And I cried in that small, sterile room, trying not to let the nurse see. For the first time in years, I felt light. Like I could breathe again until last Thursday. She was out running errands. I was looking for her keys and found a stack of paperwork in the back of the drawer. Medical forms, test results. I shouldn't have read them. I know that, but curiosity doesn't ask permission, and neither does truth. There it was, a line of text buried in fine print. Donor ID, confidential non-partner genetic material used. At first I didn't understand. I sat with the paper in my hands for what felt like an hour, reading the words over and over, like they'd change. If I stared long enough, she came home humming, holding a bag of tiny socks. I asked her about it. Not angry, not even suspicious. Just needing clarity, needing to believe there was another explanation. She stopped, went quiet. The smile faded, and I knew. Right then, I knew everything was about to break. She told me she'd made a choice. Said the treatment had better chances with donor material, that the doctor explained it. And she agreed that she didn't tell me, because she didn't want to add more pain, that I'd already given so much that she thought I might leave. I gave everything, my savings, my body, my peace. I bent until I broke, and all I ever asked for was honesty. But here I was, holding a paper in one hand and the pieces of my life in the other. She tried to touch my arm. I pulled away. Not out of anger, but something worse. Emptiness. Numbness. The kind that comes after the final punch, when you don't even have the strength to get up. I didn't sleep that night, just sat in the living room, listening to the soft thrum of the baby monitor already plugged in. Though the baby hadn't arrived yet, I asked myself 1,000 questions. What kind of man stays? What kind of man walks away? Is love real if it's built on half-truths? Can a child ever be yours if you weren't part of their beginning? The house is quiet. Now she's upstairs and I'm down here with the ghost of a family I thought I had. I keep staring at the crib. I built every screw turned by hand, every splinter sanded smooth. I remember how proud I felt now. I wonder if I should finish painting the stars on the ceiling or start packing a bag, and the worst part, I still love her. God help me, I still love her. It's been 3 weeks. 3 weeks since the truth came out, since the words non-partner genetic material turned my world upside down. Since I stopped being able to look her in the eyes without wondering who she really is or who I am now, and the shadow of that truth, we're still in the same house, still under the same roof, but it feels like we're on opposite sides of a canyon. Neither of us knows how to cross. We pass each other in the hallways like ghosts. She offers soft smiles and careful glances, like she's trying to hold the edges of something already torn. I haven't touched the nursery since that night. The crib is finished, but the walls are still only half painted the stars. I plan to stencil along the ceiling, sit in a box unopened, waiting for a man who's not sure he belongs in that room anymore. She hasn't brought it up again, and neither have I, but silence has its own language. Some mornings I get up early just to avoid her. I pour coffee, stand by the window, and stare out into the backyard, like the answer might be hiding in the overgrown grass or the cracks in the fence. I think about how many hours I spent back there, fixing things, patching the shed, planting flowers, building that swing. She wanted everything I did for us, so why do I feel like a stranger in my own life? It's not just the betrayal, it's what it represents. That she made a decision without me, that she took this leap and didn't trust me to be part of it. And now I'm standing on the edge of something I helped build, unsure if I have the right to stay inside the baby's dew. In a few weeks, she's showing now glowing. They call it, people smile at her in grocery stores, ask if it's her first. She nods and they touch her arm, say things like, "You'll be amazing." And she will. I know she will. But me, I just stand there, pretending smiling when I have to. Holding the cart like it's the only thing keeping me upright. The truth is, I love that baby already. I feel it when I hear the heartbeat during appointments. I feel it when I see the tiny socks drying on the line. I feel it every time I walk past the nursery and catch a glimpse of the mobile I picked out, wooden moons and clouds. But I also feel something else, shame, like I'm lying. Just by standing there, like I'm pretending to be someone I'm not, a father to a child who doesn't carry my blood, a husband to a woman who no longer carries my trust, and yet I still haven't left. Maybe that makes me weak. Maybe it makes me human. I talked to my brother about it last night. First time I brought it up to anyone. We sat in his garage nursing warm beers under a flickering bulb. He listened, didn't say much, just nodded, like he already knew how it would go. When I finished, he looked at me and said, "So what do you want to do?" And I didn't have an answer. What do I want to do? Walk away, start over alone, or stay pretend? None of this matters. Raise this child as mine and carry the truth like a secret that only grows heavier with time. There's no easy answer, no clean line between right and wrong. I think about my own father. A hard man, didn't say much, but he showed up every day, no matter how tired he was, no matter how broke he was, there reliable as the morning sun. And I wonder, is that what makes a man a father? Blood or presence? I haven't told her how I'm feeling. I don't know how. Every time I try, the words die in my throat. I'm scared they'll come out like accusations or worse, like a goodbye. But the truth is crawling under my skin. It keeps me up at night, makes my hands shake when I try to hold a wrench or stir my coffee. Makes me question whether the life I've built still belongs to me. I tried writing her a letter. Got as far as I don't know who we are anymore, then crumpled it and threw it away. She deserves better than silence, and so does that child. But how do you move forward when the foundation's cracked? I watched her last night. She didn't see me. She was sitting in the nursery, humming, folding tiny clothes. Her face was peaceful, gentle, like nothing had changed. And for a second, I believed it too. I saw the life we dreamed of, the Sunday mornings, the laughter, the messy kitchen filled with toys. It was all there in that one fragile moment. Then it passed, and I was back in the hallway, a ghost again, wondering if I'd already become the kind of man who watches life from the outside. I wish someone could tell me what to do. Give me a sign, a map? A reason, but no one can, because this isn't about what's easy, it's about what's right. And I still don't know what that is. The baby came early, not dangerously so, but enough to throw everything into chaos. It was a Tuesday rain hitting the windows like it had something to say. She woke me just after midnight, hands clutching her belly, eyes wide with a mix of fear and something deeper. Something I hadn't seen in a long time, Trust. I think it's time, she said, voice trembling. And just like that, every thought I'd been drowning in vanished, all the pain, the questions, the second guessing. They didn't matter in that moment. I grabbed the bag, helped her into the car, and drove like I was carrying glass. The hospital lights were too bright, the air too sterile, but none of it mattered. She squeezed my hand like it was the only thing tethering her to earth. And I held on. I didn't think about how we got here. I just thought, she needs me. Hours passed like minutes. Then the sound, soft, raw, impossibly small. A cry, the kind that stops time, that slices through everything and leaves nothing but awe in its place. I looked at her and she looked at me, and for the first time in months, we were on the same page. No words, just wonder. She whispered, "Do you want to hold him?" And I nodded because there was no other answer. He was so light, so impossibly tiny, wrapped tight face, pink, and wrinkled, blinking, like the world was too much to take in. I held him close. I told myself not to feel it, that he wasn't mine and that this wasn't real, that I was just a stand and a placeholder, a name on a form. But then he reached out, tiny fingers curled around mine like he knew me, like he'd been waiting for me, and just like that, the wall I'd built cracked open in that moment. I didn't see the betrayal. I didn't see the donor. I didn't see the papers or the silence or the nights I spent alone. I saw a child, a new beginning, a life untouched by the mistakes of adults. I held him, and something inside me whispered, "You're here, that's what matters." We named him Caleb. Her choice, but I liked it. Soft, steady, a name that didn't ask for attention. Just quietly belonged. The first few days blurred together. Feeding, swaddling, soft lullabies. I found myself drifting into the rhythm without meaning to. She smiled. More talk to me like she used to, and I responded, even though part of me still held back. But the truth doesn't disappear just because you wish it would. 2 weeks later, she brought it up. We were sitting in the nursery. Caleb was asleep. She was rocking gently in the chair, and I was on the floor fiddling with a loose drawer in the dresser. "I know you're still carrying it," she said softly. I didn't answer. "I wish I'd told you. I wish I had trusted you enough to let you decide I was scared and selfish." She looked at me, then not pleading. Just open, exposed, like she'd laid everything on the table and was ready for me to take it or leave it. I thought maybe if I gave you a child, everything would fix itself. I swallowed hard. My hands were shaking, so I set the drawer down and looked at her. At the woman I loved, the woman who broke something in me and also gave me the only thing I'd ever truly wanted. I would have said yes. I told her, if you had asked, I would have said yes. I just wanted to be part of it. A view of him. Tears slipped down her cheeks. Not dramatic. Not loud. Just quiet. Like everything else about this journey. We sat there a long time, no more words. Just the sound of Caleb breathing. Just the weight of our choices filling the room. Like steam in the weeks that followed. I kept asking myself the same question. Can love survive betrayal? And the answer, I think, is sometimes. Sometimes love isn't about being right. It's not about clean lines or perfect trust. It's about staying. It's about showing up even when your heart is heavy. It's about holding a child in your arms and deciding this is mine. No matter what blood says, I didn't forgive her all at once. I still haven't completely. Forgiveness isn't a switch. It's a road. Some days I walk it willingly, other days I trip on the same stone. I thought I'd stepped over, but I'm still walking. I went back into the nursery last night, picked up the stencils, finished painting the stars on the ceiling. Caleb won't remember it, but maybe he'll feel it. How much love went into that room? How much doubt? How much hope? He's growing fast, smiles now when I make stupid noises, grips my finger like it's a lifeline. And every time he does, I remind myself, I chose this. Not because I had to, but because I wanted to. People will judge. They'll say I should have left, that I lost my dignity, that I'm raising a child who's not mine. But they don't know what it feels like to hold him. After a long day, they don't know how he rests his head on my chest, like it's the only place he feels safe. Blood matters, but love. Love builds the foundation and dignity. Dignity is showing up when it's hard. It's choosing love, even when it hurts. It's being the man your child needs, not the one your ego demands. So here I am, still painting, still learning, still choosing this family, flawed, fractured, but real. And maybe one day when Caleb's old enough to ask where he came from, I'll tell him the truth. Gently, honestly. And I'll end with this. You may not have come from me, but you belong to me, and I'll never stop choosing.